Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing? Thank you for tuning in and taking the time and the energy to listen to me ramble and express my journey of spirituality and my messages of love, light, and guidance channeled from divine, from God, from the Universal Council, and just to see what this life is really about and someone else's view. All right. Today's subject. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna get into the reason why all this is the way it is, as in like my awakening. Yeah. So I'm gonna actually. I do want to talk about this. I like talking about it because to me, it's very mystical and sacred, and it's beautiful. And people, I understand people are gonna look at this and be like, "Oh shit!" Like he on like his brain isn't right, but. I'm not suffering. I'm not I'm not down. I'm not letting life trap me for what people think reality is. I'm here. And if you're taking the time to listen to this, I know you feel the same way or you're wanting to feel the same way. Or you should need to see, what does someone else think about what this is. So, with that being said, just to give you okay, so what is a spiritual awakening? So, with that, the definition on the web is it's an eye-opening moment when you realize and accept that there is more than our physical surroundings. As in a spiritual awakening, showing you there's much more than you and yourself, and that we don't know everything, and who's really in charge. So before I really get into the journey of the actual awakening, I want to give you guys a background of how I was and my mindset and everything before the awakening. My awakening happened July 3rd this year, 2020. So I'm very, very new to this. I'm very, very, just getting with the program this is something everyone has been going through like for years, and I did not know like this shit has always been here, like always, like spirituality has always been here. And I grew up, I don't even want to say I grew up Catholic because that's what I perceived it as, but my family grew up very, very just lost or not aware because we grew up quote unquote Catholic. And we would do, these misas and these gatherings and, these little, like Lent and stuff. But nobody ever expressed, like, the importance or even the story behind of why we're doing this. And I even saw through it, like, since freaking birth that, to me, religion, God, prayer, any of those terms, anything that has to do with any of that was very triggering. And when I use the word triggering, as in it would automatically shut me down. It would automatically put me through a lash. I'm lashing out. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to hear about it. And the reasoning for that, because everyone would fight on me and be like, God's not this, God's not that. But my thing's like, you cannot tell me what God is and what God isn't because you have not been treated the way I have. And when I say that, religion and God and prayer, all of it has been used to oppress and suppress me while growing up. And nobody even stands on, all those people who have oppressed me and have used that in any way to devalue me or to laugh at me with or to try punishing me with, none of those people have a connection with God the way I do. None of those people are not suffering from their own psychological dramas. I'm free from that. I'm becoming free from that. I'm aware of that. I know who my God is. I know who God is because God is within all of us. God is us. God is me. God is you. And, you can hear that all you want. And I've heard that shit too, like all the time. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. But it's truly until you get the understanding and it gets embodied into your DNA and your soul being, and you have that moment of realization and an eye-opening, just like it leaves you dumbfounded. But even now I use the word God in prayer, and a lot more lovingly and a lot more understandably, because everyone's like, oh, so now you know Jesus, now you know. Yeah, like, I've learned more about Jesus and God from this amazing book. I think it's called Masters of the East by BTS, and it's just, I feel, to me, that that's how I communicate with God. I have learned more about Jesus' being and calling, and who God really is as father and mother, as dual forms, and that, it's within us. Like, they don't teach you that. And then for, this is just from, like, I guess modern times. A lot of people want to put Bible verses and here, this, and all that, but no one ever talks about the true stories. I don't see anyone really embodying it, and the ones who do are very limited in their beliefs about it, and they're always trying to force others. My whole thing, you guys are just here to listen to me about talking about this. I'm not forcing anyone to awaken. I am here to help that, though. I am here to help give that stepping stone, that light, the new teachings, whatever I'm going to do to understand and to embrace spirituality and freedom. Because that's what it is. Like, the idea and the perspective I had about God and prayer and life and death and punishment and all this was manipulated because it was perceived and offered and engraved as a limited belief. And that's gonna be another episode about limited beliefs. But that was just basically my background, and then, like, on how I felt before everything that's happened. So leading up to what happened, July 3rd, 2020, I lost my job. I think a month before, or 2 months, and I had a good paying job for whatever I was making at the moment, and the pandemic just started. Like, when it got known, I guess, that it was spreading more and more, and they started shutting stores down. It happened to me, it happened to my store. And then when I was being isolated in my own house for like months, I got to a point of just, I guess, disconnection. And then my relationship was falling apart. So now I'm in the middle of a pandemic. I am not happy in my relationship because it's not what I thought it was. And, this person doesn't want to be with me in this moment from, whatever was going on. And then, I wasn't happy with myself at all. And, these feelings started staying on super heavy with me. And I started realizing, I was like, what makes me happy? What truly even describes me? Because all these things that people are like, oh, you're good at this, oh, this makes you good, like, this makes you happy. I wasn't connecting with that anymore. And it started scaring me. And, nothing was working. So I was like, what's my purpose here? I just want to plug out already. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, am I just supposed to keep suffering for how long? I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So I had a little shroom experience before July 3rd. And that opened me up to my second experience. So my awakening happened through a magic mushroom tea. And I got this, I got a friend who brought it to me. And, that morning she comes over and she asked me, what do I want to do with him? Like, am I excited for my trip? And instantly for me, just, the reason I wanted it, because, my partner at the moment, he was leaving for a trip, and I was just feeling so lost. And I was like, you know what, like, I feel like I just need to detach. I need to escape something out of my head so I can find some kind of clarity, some kind of comfort. Like, I want to know who I am. Like, that just kept popping up, and I was like, and I started doing more research on mushrooms, and I was like, shit, like, let me just try it. Let me see how I can do this. So, that morning, I just forgot. I was looking up YouTube videos on how to do this, And yeah, I was like, honestly, I was very scared of mushrooms, like magic mushrooms. That sure was terrifying because, it was like, oh, leaves you psychologically fucked up and all this. But my appreciation and how sacred that is to me, like I wish to explore more and just really have everyone's awareness on what it is, because sacred plant medicine ceremonies and rituals and all that, like mushrooms, cannabis, ayahuasca, peyote, all this is very, very sacred to indigenous cultures and to the way of life. It stops, or it can pause, and it resets your brain, as in it puts you in a moment of like it kind of shows you all your shadows and what you have done, but also this connection to earth and this connection to the universe, and realizing, that we're all connected. You already have everything. You are everything. But see, I'm sorry, I'm already jumping ahead. But so I'm over here in the kitchen heating up water, and I was looking at videos, and I was like, okay, I can do like a lemon mushroom tea. Let's see, lemon and honey. So, I'm just doing this, and I've never done this alone. This was my second time doing it, and I was like, okay, there's no reason why I should be scared to be alone in my own thoughts. So, it's ready, right? And I go up to my room. I put music on. I have the fan going. And I started to drink my tea, and I just had my journal. And I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And I kept telling myself, what makes me happy? Who am I? I need to find something. And damn, like within 15 minutes, it kicked in. I just started laughing, I guess. And I started crying. And I was just looking outside my window, and I was just in tears, and I started having some kind of I was having anxiety. So I went to I rolled onto my bed, I put my blanket around me, and instantly, everything goes black. I'm in space, I'm floating, and as I'm floating, I am engulfed. I am floating inside this blue aura, this blue and white, beautiful, huge aura in this black space. And it's a silhouette of the Virgin Mary, if anyone knows who that is. Or it's just a silhouette of like this caped woman, this hooded woman. And I felt so warm, and I started touching my beard. As I was rubbing my own beard, a voice, it was obviously myself, but it was a voice higher than me. It was a different tone, a different frequency, and either I was saying this out loud or it was in my head, but it was like, finally, like, Juan, like, we're here, you're finally here, like, we got you, like, we've missed you, I've missed you. And hearing that, I just busted out crying. I started feeling so much healing. I started feeling so much relief, and I just started pouring out so much feelings. Like, I felt like a baby. I felt like I was being reborn, feeling welcomed and loved. And I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't even question it. I just took it in, and, I hugged myself. And more tears and tears came out, and just this relief of like, wow, like, life is beautiful. Like, there's no reason why I'm holding on to any suffering, any thoughts, because thoughts causes suffering. I'm over here crying as I'm saying this, but this feeling just felt so beautiful. And then I had a calling to go outside. Tell me why I was shirtless, and then I took my shoes off, and I just went outside, and I laid on the trampoline, and I was just bathing and basking in the sunlight. And I'm telling you, I am not a person of nature. I am not a person to go outside and do any of that. But I just felt so called and comfortable to do it. So I just had this warm feeling of like, connect outside. And as I'm outside, my brother pops up into my mind. And me and my brother do not have a good relationship. We did not have anything stable. It was very just... He knew what buttons to push, and I would lash out constantly. But I had a calling to call him outside, and we never talk or anything. So he comes outside and